Week 3, Sunday Night Football is here, and what is there not to like? The 49ers return to Levi Stadium for a game that counts in front of fans for the first time in 616 days. And I think the NFL schedule makers had something to do with this, but it is poetic because 616 days ago, the 49ers beat the Green Bay Packers in the NFC Championship game. Well, the first opponent back after the entire season of fan shutdowns in Santa Clara County is the Green Bay Packers. It's a homecoming for the 49ers, too. Remember, for the final portion of that 2020 season, they got kicked out of the county. They had to go play in Arizona. So now they're back home at Levi's, and they'll be back in front of fans. And the opponent is a familiar one, the Cheeseheads. They're coming back in. They're looking for some revenge. I guess the Packers got some last year, but God, you can't really count that, right? In 2020, the 49ers had their JV team out there. Nick Mullins was the quarterback. Trent Williams didn't play in that game. Nick Bosa obviously was out. So many star players just weren't available for the 49ers. Their entire receiver core was gone, at least along the front line. So Richie James had like 200 plus receiving yards. It's completely different here in 2021. And I would venture to say that the dynamics of this game probably look a lot more like those 2019 season games, one of which is pictured just to my side here. That is the regular season game. Early on, the 49ers got the Packers backed up and they created a turnover there. And thanks to that turnover, they took an early lead and never looked back. But the most recent time was that conference championship game. And I'm going to scroll down here and play a nice little video for you from the locker room. Thankfully, I am 6'5". Because I was 6'5", I was able to get a nice angle of everything. There's Quan Alexander. You're going to see Jordan Matthews here in a second. The 49ers were partying like it was 2019. There's DeMontre Moore doing the little sweep dance. I think that's the Forrest Buckner sweep dance back when Buckner was still on the team. Laken Tomlinson in the shot. There's Joe Staley in the background putting on his NFC Championship t-shirt. Ben Garland sighting. Daniel Brunskill sighting. There's George Kittle, Ross Dwelly. The quarterbacks here are about to line up for a group photo. Jimmy Garoppolo, C.J. Beathard, and of course Mullins with Richard Sherman in the background. There's Akella Witherspoon. It's a blast from the past at this point, right? Another George Kittle sighting. More DeMontre Moore. Good stuff all around. I think that was Dre Greenlaw doing some dancing as well. Anyway, that's the most recent time that the 49ers played in front of fans at Levi's. So good memories. And now they're going to try to bring back some of that 2019 with our keys. First is run like it's 2019. Absolutely mandatory for the 49ers to establish some semblance of a run game. Now, they don't have to do it like it was 2019, literally. I mean, if they do that, they're going to blow the Packers completely out of the water, just like they did in those two meetings that year. The NFC Championship game featured Raheem Mostert running for 6.9 yards per carry, or maybe even more, because the 49ers as a team were at 6.9 per carry. Mostert in that game was far above that. He set an NFL record for the playoffs with 220 yards and 4 touchdowns. In fact, Raheem Mostert broke the playoff rushing single game record of Colin Kaepernick, who rushed for 181 against the Packers in the January 2013 NFC divisional round. So you get a theme here. The Packers are a soft defense. It doesn't matter what year it is. They cannot stop a running game or a 49ers running game in the playoffs, whether it was Colin Kaepernick running all over them in January 2013 or Raheem Mostert running all over them in January 2019. It didn't matter. The Packers weren't able to stop it. And the common denominator was Aaron Rodgers not getting a whole lot to work with on the other side of the football. If the 49ers are able to run the ball behind what I think is a very good starting offensive line that, by the way, is still totally healthy, knock on wood. So hope the 49ers offensive line stays healthy, because if they do, I think that against the 26th ranked rush defense in the league, and that's what the Green Bay Packers are, I think that the 49ers will be able to run the ball despite the injuries at running back. Practice update. On Friday, Elijah Mitchell did practice, but he's listed as doubtful. And Kyle Shanahan said that the only reason that he's, going to try to push the plays because the 49ers don't have Raheem Mostert or JaMychal Hasty. The good news is that Trey Sermon is out of his blue non-contact jersey, meaning that he has passed through the concussion protocol, so he should play for the 49ers on Sunday. Although that first carry did end up in a concussion with a concussion for Trey Sermon, I do think that he looked very explosive on it, and the 49ers have a lot to be excited about there. We'll see what they do beyond that at the running back position. Do they activate Jacquez Patrick, the big back, 230-pounder that they just poached off of Cincinnati's practice squad? Maybe. Maybe he's a guy that absorbs some bruises so they could kind of minimize the injury rate at that position. Or do they call up Kerryon Johnson from the practice squad, or even Chris Thompson from the practice squad? I'm not sure. Shanahan wouldn't divulge that, and he's still deciding some stuff based on Elijah Mitchell's availability. So the 49ers will try to cobble together a competent running back room, and they'll try to put together an efficient running performance that sets the backbone of their offense. That allows Jimmy Garoppolo to do stuff off of play action. That just exposes a generally weak Packers defense. Remember that last season the Packers defense wasn't great, but the 49ers managed only 55 rushing yards. They lost that game 34-17. I get it. Everybody and their mom was hurt for that game in 2020. So, Jerick McKinnon was the lead running back. The 49ers didn't have receivers. Nick Mullins was their quarterback. All of that stuff had something to do with the fact that the team couldn't run the football. But my point is, you can't run like it's 2020, because if it's that kind of rushing performance for the 49ers on Sunday, all of a sudden the advantage goes to the Packers in this football game. So this healthy new look offensive line with Alex Mack running the controls at center, with Trent Williams actually in there this time, with Mike McGlinchey weighing 15 to 20 pounds more this season, they have to do some work. And the way that they're going to do that work is if they neutralize Kenny Clark. He is, I think, the most dangerous Green Bay defensive lineman. You may be worried because Clark is a 3 technique. He's going to work against Daniel Brunskill, who's the 49ers' weakest offensive lineman. But I think those outside pitches, that's what the 49ers ran against Philadelphia to really neutralize, Hargrave, the great Philadelphia interior lineman, to really get away from the weakness of this 49ers offensive line. I think you're going to see Shanahan go back to that. I think you're going to see a healthy dose of outside zone, maybe some trap plays inside, maybe the occasional inside zone play, since you do have a guy like Jacquez Patrick. If he is up in this game, you want to have a bruiser going up the middle. But whatever the 49ers do, the main nemesis of that run game will be Kenny Clark, the Green Bay defensive tackle. There is no Zadarius Smith in this game. He's on IR right now with a back injury. So the 49ers don't have to worry as much about the edges. I think they're going to win there, especially when your ox blocker is George Kittle. I really do not worry about the 49ers in that matchup, but I think that they're going to have to pay attention to not letting the interior blow them up. And if they do that, everything should flow like water pours downhill. I mean, it's one of those situations where the Packers are just not a good run defense and the 49ers are a good run offense, and it should be much easier sledding than it was in week 1. Key number 2, let Nick Bosa eat. And I think Nick Bosa better get his silverware ready right now, because here's the situation. Packers starting left tackle David Bakhtiari is currently on PUP. He tore his ACL toward the end of 2020, and he's going to be out for at least the first 6 weeks of 2021. That means the Packers have had to move to plan B at the left tackle position. That's Elgton Jenkins, impressive young offensive lineman who's very versatile, was supposed to be their center of the future, can play guard. Well, he was at left tackle up until he hurt his ankle last week. Now Elgton Jenkins is doubtful for the game against the 49ers. So that means that the Packers will be on their third option at left tackle, and that's not good against the 49ers and Nick Bosa, especially when their first option, Bakhtiari, got destroyed by Nick Bosa back in 2019. So if Bakhtiari couldn't handle it, I don't know how the third option is going to be able to handle it successfully against the 49ers. Bosa is preparing for Packers right tackle Billy Turner to move from the right side to the left side for this game, because Billy Turner has experience playing left tackle. If that indeed does happen, though, the Packers will screw up both of their tackle spots, because Turner will have to vacate right tackle and Green Bay is going to have to play somebody else at that right side. And it's not like the 49ers have a bunch of chumps rushing against the right side. Dee Ford's having a nice start to the season, and he's going to be operating opposite Nick Bosa. So if you're the 49ers, you really have to like the setup that they have right now. Bosa on one side, D Ford on the other, and in all likelihood, they're both going to be working against tackles who are not used to being at their respective spots, and they'll both be backup tackles because Billy Turner's a starter on the right side. He's definitely not a starter at left tackle. If Bosa eats in this game, it will start to look a lot like those 2019 games where the 49ers pass rush just collapsed the Packers line. There's been so much hand wringing and so much ridiculous non-contextual criticism of Jimmy Garoppolo's lack of air yards per attempt over week 2. In week 1, it wasn't even low, but in week 2, it was 3.6 air yards per attempt, lowest in the NFL. Why was that the case? Because the Eagles were rushing with their hair on fire up front and they were sagging with their secondary, which meant screen passes were the right calls. Well, guess who didn't throw for a lot of air yards, or guess who threw for negative air yards against the 49ers in 2019? That's right, number 12. His greatness, Aaron Rodgers. The 49ers whipped the Packers so thoroughly up front that Aaron Rodgers averaged negative 0.7 completed air yards per attempt against the 49ers in the regular season matchup of 2019. In fact, Rodgers did not complete a single pass that traveled over 10 yards in the air past the line of scrimmage. The 49ers were unusually dominant in that 2019 season. They had DJ Jones overpowering people then too, and of course DJ Jones is going to be back and ready for this game. But beyond that, DeForest Buckner was doing work on the inside. That defensive line was special. The 49ers believe this year's defensive line can also be very, very good. Without Buckner, I get it. Maybe they won't be able to hold Aaron Rodgers to negative 0.7 completed air yards per attempt. But I still think the 49ers can be very, very good, especially in the context of this matchup. They are a nightmare matchup for the Green Bay Packers up front. Take this. The Packers in 2019 led the entire NFL in pass blocking grade and in ESPN's pass block win rate stat. This was the best pass blocking line in football in front of Aaron Rodgers in 2019, and the 49ers made them look like mincemeat even when they were healthy. Well, now the Packers aren't even healthy, and the 49ers are. And even though without Buckner, they might be a little bit worse than they were in 2019, I think that they're ready to work over the Packers again up front. Another little nugget, D Ford wasn't available for that Week 12 game in 2019. He was available in the playoffs, and I know in the conference championship, the 49ers throttled the Packers again, but it's just worth remembering that, despite the fact that the 49ers may have lost a little bit of talent pass rushing wise on the interior, they're gaining something with a healthy D Ford on the outside. Aaron Rodgers, if he plays on schedule, is maybe the most dangerous quarterback in football. He has the arm, the improvisational ability, just the moxie to really give you trouble. If he's comfortable, you don't have much of a chance. We saw that in 2020. We've seen that 5 times over the course of Rodgers' career when he's beaten the 49ers. But Aaron Rodgers is also 0-6 against winning 49ers teams. And the reason that he's 0-6 is because winning 49ers teams, that was in the Harbaugh era, and that was in 2019, 2 losses a season for Aaron Rodgers, 1 in the regular season, 1 in the playoffs. It's been very symmetrical to make that 0-6. All of those times, the 49ers have had very powerful defenses and fronts that have overpowered the Packers' offensive line. So if Nick Bosa eats, that means they've overpowered the Packers' offensive line yet again. And that means that Aaron Rodgers is going to be in a whole world of trouble because he's going to be throwing a lot of short passes. And I really think the 49ers linebackers, Fred Warner and company, Azeez Al-Shire, the safety, Jimmy Ward, I think they're ready to eat in that situation. I think they're ready to grab their silverware and make some tackles close to the line of scrimmage and make this look a whole lot like 2 years ago. The one way that Green Bay will try to counteract this 49ers advantage up front is key number 3. And that's how the 49ers must defend early Green Bay downfield strikes. I think in the first possession of this game, the Packers will realize that they're overmatched. They already know this because they have experience from the 2 matchups in 2019. But they have a good running back named Aaron Jones. So I think Green Bay is going to try to run a bit to Aaron Jones. They're going to try to take some sting out of the 49ers pass rush. But I think more than anything, it's going to be important for the Packers to grab an early lead because they want to play this game ahead. I think that's the only chance that they have. So, just run after run to Aaron Jones won't cut it, especially if Javon Kinlaw plays for the 49ers and locks down that interior. I think that before stuff gets out of hand for the Packers, they might try a couple surprise deep strikes early in this game and play it on their terms. Test the 49ers secondary, where Josh Norman is about to turn 34 years old, where Diamaro Lenore is still a rookie, where Emmanuel Mosley might be coming off a knee injury. See how those guys fare against Devontae Adams early on. All-pro receiver, all-pro cornerback and quarterback and Aaron Rodgers against possibly a sketchier 49ers secondary. As this game wears on, and if the 49ers grab a lead, the 49ers pass rush will be able to pin its ears back and really get after Aaron Rodgers. But there might be just a slight sliver of room for a quick strike early in this game. And that's why it's really important for the 49ers to be ready on their P's and Q's early. Do not give Aaron Rodgers a sliver of daylight to grab the lead early in this game. If this goes the way that it should go, based on the healthy talent available for both teams, the 49ers are stronger. And if they're stronger, then they'll grab that lead and they'll coast and they'll be able to eliminate any bit of daylight that Green Bay has with their pass rush as the Packers get more desperate. But if the Packers can take advantage of that daylight at the start of the game, they can convince themselves that some of it exists, and Aaron Rodgers hits a big pass to Devontae Adams early, that's where they can start creating, something where they actually have a legitimate chance. 49ers playing from behind. Packers could run in that situation. 49ers, if they get behind 2 scores, won't be able to run nearly as much and just throws all game plans and all rhythms out of whack. So it's very important for the 49ers secondary to step up early, to develop some downfield, to defend those downfield strikes so the pass rush has a chance to really start getting home. And who knows, maybe Nick Bosa gets home on play 1. That can always happen too if the Packers are this beaten up front. But I think that Green Bay will find a way to neutralize the 49ers for at least a few plays. And that's why it's so important for the San Francisco secondary to do its job. Key number 4, stay within the offense. Jimmy Garoppolo has done a great job staying within the offense for the 49ers so far this year. In fact, I could go down and show you some stats for Jimmy Garoppolo. Here they are. Maybe we'll zoom in a little bit. That didn't work. Let's zoom out a little bit. Here we go. Jimmy Garoppolo so far this year. You'll have to zoom in on your own if that's too small for you. 9.1 yards per attempt. That's 7th in the league among quarterbacks. Adjusted net yards per attempt includes interceptions and touchdown passes. Jimmy Garoppolo is 5th in the league at 9.6. That's a very good figure. DVOA, which is an advanced statistical measurement that takes into account down and distance. Jimmy Garoppolo ranks 4th among all quarterbacks at 42.1%. Why is he so high everywhere, despite the fact that he's not a darling of fantasy football, since fantasy football players love touchdown passes and stats? Well, this is why. Jimmy Garoppolo has only taken 1 sack. That helps his adjusted net yards per attempt and DVOA. He's thrown no interceptions, which helps those 2 stats as well. And he's scored 3 total touchdowns, which helps the DVOA. 1 rushing, 2 passing for Jimmy Garoppolo. Those are the numbers of an efficient quarterback. And these also are the numbers of an efficient quarterback. On third down, Garoppolo's been 10 of 14 for 168 yards. That's 12 yards an attempt with a touchdown and a passer rating of 135.4. Jimmy is getting it done when it counts. So because of that, the 49ers offense has been able to stay on schedule. You don't execute 2 90-plus yard touchdown drives on the road against a good defense like the 49ers did against Philadelphia without staying on schedule. And that's exactly what the 49ers did last week. The benefit for the 49ers, primarily in this game against the Packers, is that the Packers defense is nowhere near as strong as Philadelphia's defense. So it's, again, important for Jimmy Garoppolo to avoid giveaways, which he's done so far, and to avoid sacks. With no Zadarius Smith, I expect the Packers to have a lot of trouble pressuring Garoppolo. And I don't know how they're going to do in run defense against the 49ers patchwork collection of running backs. But assuming that the 49ers aren't able to run as effectively as they did in 2019, it'll take more than 12 throws from Jimmy Garoppolo. That's how many times he tossed the ball in that NFC Championship game. And if that ends up being the case, I think this is going to be more like the 2019 regular season game. Remember, Garoppolo hit George Kittle on the deep play action, which is the same play that Trey Lance hit Trey Sherfield with against the Chiefs in the preseason for a touchdown. Well, 49ers are going to have to hit some calculated downfield strikes to make sure that Green Bay's run defense loosens up. So I think this will be a big Garoppolo game. And I also think it'll be a big Trey Lance game. Because the Packers are softer up front than the Eagles, I think Shanahan will be comfortable playing Lance in this football game. Reason two is the 49ers run game and their run weapons at running back are in question right now. So Trey Lance is a weapon that can help you out on the ground. I think Shanahan mixes and matches him in smartly. And that's the 49ers staying within the offense. You have a 2 QB system if you need it. And in this game, that double-edged lightsaber, the Darth Maul lightsaber, we'll call it for the 49ers, Garoppolo one blade, Lance the other blade. I think it's going to be something that the 49ers can really use to their advantage against a soft Packers defense to control the ball, keep that defense and Aaron Rodgers off the field, and keep that pass rush fresh. Because a fresh pass rush, as we've seen in the past, 49ers and Packers, it gives Aaron Rodgers a whole lot of trouble. In fact, take a look at Aaron Rodgers' career against the 49ers whenever the 49ers have finished with a winning record. Red is bad, blue is good. This is adjusted yards per attempt. Zoom in again if you can on YouTube, but we have both 2012 matchups, both 2013 matchups, and both 2019 matchups. The only time that Aaron Rodgers has played a good game against the winning 49ers team was in week one, the season opener of the 2013 season. That was the final ever season opener at Candlestick Park. The 49ers won 34-28. Rodgers averaged 9.4 adjusted yards per attempt, which is excellent. Too bad for him, though. Colin Kaepernick averaged over 12 adjusted yards per attempt in that game and threw for over 412 yards. So when he erased a good performance from Aaron Rodgers, and in the rest of them, the 49ers defense has held serve over the Packers quarterback. So they're not all too worried about Aaron Rodgers if they can do what they need to do defensively. And what can really help them is staying within schedule for offense. This is the final key. Number 5, fly to Green Bay's quick game. I talked about Aaron Rodgers and the screen passes he's going to throw in this game, but the 49ers defensive line has the advantage that we think it will. That means you're going to see a lot of Devontae Adams, a lot of Aaron Jones, a lot of Robert Tonyan, the tight end. Whoever the Packers want to use as a weapon close to the line of scrimmage. And Rodgers is good at that timing game. I mean, he's good at everything. It's Aaron Rodgers. If that happens, the 49ers linebackers are going to have to fly to the football. That puts a lot on Azeez Al-Shire. That puts a lot on Fred Warner. It puts a lot on the safeties. Jimmy Ward's going to have to be near there. Cornerbacks are going to have to fight through blocks. You cannot let Green Bay's short passing game turn into a productive de facto rushing attack. That's what the 49ers must avoid at all costs. Some teams that are unable to run the football against the 49ers and Kinlaw and DJ Jones and that ferocious interior, some teams try to use the quick passing attack as a way to diffuse the 49ers pass rush so they can't get after it on obvious passing downs. The 49ers cannot let Green Bay get 5 to 6 yards every time they throw a quick screen. They need to blow some of those up behind or near. And that is really important for the 49ers linebackers to take care of that key. They're going to need to fly out to the football, beat blocks, and just generally win on their assignments to make sure that Aaron Rodgers can't pull a fast one on them with any of these little tricks. Anyway, that's it. Keys to 49ers Packers. I think the 49ers win this one 34-20. I would take the cover if you're gambling on this game. I've seen the line as low as 49ers -3, usually 49ers -3.5. I'd be all over that. I think the 49ers win by 2 possessions. Obviously, freak injuries can happen. Freak stuff can happen in a matchup like this, especially with Aaron Rodgers on the other side. But I suspect that this will be a lot more like 2019 than it was 2020. All right, everybody, enjoy. Hope you can watch this game on Sunday and see some of what I was talking about actually transpire on the field. Take care, everybody. Oh, and make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Got a prize coming at 4,000. So the quicker we get there, the quicker the prize comes. Take care.